Welcome back, Shapeshifters. Today we're talking about clean it up, clearing the clutter to call in clarity. Clutter isn't just about mess. It's energy that's stuck, that's stagnant, and that's stealing your peace. Whether we're talking about your kitchen cabinet to your camera roll, we are getting into clutter in all shapes and forms and the real reasons why letting go is actually the glow up. So tap in as we explore how mental, physical, and spiritual clutter can block your blessings and how small, intentional shifts can actually open big portals of peace, productivity, and prosperity. And we all need more of that in our life, right? Especially because we are now officially in the season of summer. It is a new shift, a new time of year. On the fall calendar, we actually celebrate this as our new year. And so we know that the summer just gives us an opportunity to reset. We know that chronic clutter can actually increase your cortisol levels. This is the stress hormone, and high cortisol levels and clutter can also be linked to depression. So there is a cost of holding on. What is it costing you in terms of clarity today? Mentally, clutter leads to decision fatigue. Spiritually, it disrupts our connection to intuition. Emotionally, it holds grief, guilt, and fear of lack. And releasing opens room for receiving. So often we're talking about the things that we want to bring into the universe, the things that we want to do. But how are we actually going to get there if we aren't creating new space for things to occur? So wherever you are right now, I want you to start by taking a scan of your home. If you're at home, I want you to give yourself a little panorama of your home, of the room that you're in. Maybe walk around, open some drawers, open your refrigerator. And if you're not at home, you can do it when you get home, or you can think about what your home looks like and just do an assessment without judgment. And as you're assessing, I want you to look for the places where there is space, actual physical space, meaning that if I have a table, there's space on the table. If I have a bed, is the bed covered in clothes? Where is there space in your home? And where are those places where there is fullness, where there are items, where there are objects? And in that assessment, think about where you would like to create more space. Maybe there's areas where you want more fullness, right? Where you want more objects in your home. And when you're looking at the items, the objects, think about, am I using these items and objects? Are these items bringing me joy? Are they truly representative of who I am in this era of my life? Because we're always evolving. If you think about your body as the spaceship, if you will, the physical suit that you get in this lifetime to navigate your destiny, to move you forward, are these things meeting me in the place that I'm in this phase of my life? I know that as I've grown older, my fashion style has changed. I don't wear mini skirts anymore. No shade to mini skirts. I'd like a different silhouette at this era of my life. So even though my clothes were still great, they just didn't represent who I was and what I wanted to be. There was a time where I wanted more activities in my home that did not require power. So I invested in singing bowls, drum, and a kalimba, chimes. And so thinking about where there is space, where there is fullness, and this is critically important because we think about the things that we're praying about. Oftentimes we have to let something go in order to bring something new in. So just a quick energetic reset timed with this new season of the summer solstice, this time of illumination, this time of coming into the light, Kundalini fire energy, being more expansive. We're getting that boost from the universe. We're in the season of what is becoming visible, what is being seen. These are opportunities for us to do that quick audit and think about, what am I ready to let go of? What am I ready to let go of in the physical so that new energy can come in? Even just rearranging your furniture, rearranging your closet, your bookshelf. Sometimes shifting around of energy can allow more energy to come in. We live in such a consumer obsessed culture now. We have so many objects, so many things, clothes that still have the price tag on them that we haven't even used, cheap plastic items that we got and maybe they broke and we couldn't fix them. Part of consumer culture is manufactured obsolescence. There are things that literally are being manufactured now to be obsolete. One quick example of this is getting headphones when you go on a flight. All of those headphones are not reusable. You use them one time, you throw them away, and every flight they give you a new pair of headphones. Think about all of the headphones that are literally created just to go into the garbage the same day. It destroys our planet environmentally because we now have all of these toxins and electronics leaking into our landfills, leaking into our oceans. It reinforces this idea of consumerism where we think we always have to have things. That's why antiques cost money. That's why old homes are expensive. Because the craftsmanship, the way that things were designed and made, they were built to last. You can still get them repaired. One of the things that I love about living in Mexico is there's all these repair shops. I can get my watch repaired. I can get my clothes repaired. I can get my shoes repaired. I can get my electronics repaired. There's still a culture of not just throwing something away, of reusing it, upcycling it, of repairing. And so getting away from things that we're constantly having to buy new versions of, like I don't buy paper towels. I've invested in cloth napkins. They're just things that to me, you use one time, you throw them away. Yeah, you could say you could recycle it. That's just a personal decision for me. When we're thinking about clutter, thinking about it from the spiritual point of view, but also recognizing the environmental impacts of consumerism. Bell Hooks wrote in the book Daughters of the Yam about this idea of consumerism, particularly as it related to Black women who are of the baby boomer generation. And she talks about the fact that their parents were literally born during the Depression, time where saving was extremely important. They raised the animals that they ate. They grew the food that they ate. They knew how to can food, how to preserve food, how to make their own clothes. Everything was about craftsmanship. And my parents represent the generation where they were born into that. But then they also grew up and segregation ended and there was the civil rights act. Both of my parents are the first generation of their family to go to college, first ones to get passports, to travel abroad, first ones to be able to go into white companies, white institutions because of the end of segregation, the so-called diversity. Now, time has proven many years later that having access to white spaces did not actually lead to liberation. However, the fact is that they were able to inherit a tremendous amount of purchasing power, the idea of disposable income, their parents could not even conceive of. And so in this chapter, Bell talks about the fact that many of these Black women are trying to fill a void through constant consumerism. If you look at boomers' homes, it's just like so much stuff. We got 10 pillows on the couch. We got the TV. We use the TV that broke. The radio, the VHS, the CD player, the MP3 player, the new iPhone, the flat screen TV, like nothing gets thrown away because they came up from this era of one, not being able to purchase, and two, this idea that I might not be able to get this back if it goes away. And so that creates this scarcity mindset. Or we're struck with the guilt of our parents. I know that I come from a family, even just throwing stuff away is like taboo. Like someone's looking at you sideways if you want to throw away something because they're like, well, you don't need to throw that away. All you need to do is add a new coat of paint, prop it up and fix it here. And I'm like, well, who's going to do that? Where am I going to take it to repair? There is no repair shop. They don't make the parts. Like, I'm probably not going to do that. So I'm either going to throw it away and try to invest in something that's not going to break. I don't purchase new phones. Every phone or electronic I purchase is always refurbished. A lot of my clothes are vintage. So finding ways to kind of offset my spending with investing in high quality products. If I have to buy something new, I can go on Facebook Marketplace, something like Craigslist, buy something used. So that scarcity mindset, when it comes down to if we're ready to let something go, we really have to examine what's coming up for us, to just observe. Am I feeling tension? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling shame? What is coming up for you when it's time to let something go? And a quick rule of thumb is if I haven't used it in the last year, guess what? You're not going to use it. The other part of clutter. Sometimes we don't even use the things we have because we don't even know they're there. How often have we gone through our closet and you found a garment that you love, but you couldn't even get to it because you couldn't see it? Or you've gone to the grocery store and you bought an item that you already had, couldn't see because your refrigerator or your pantry is too cluttered. That is a message to the universe. You're telling the universe, hey, I want more of this, but the universe is like, well, you don't even respect what you already have. So why should we give you more? Why are you entitled to more if you can't even steward the wealth and the abundance that you already have? And so there is a responsibility and a level of accountability of stewarding the items and the objects that we have to hold them sacred. I didn't grow up in a family with a lot of money, but one thing that our family always did was held a tremendous amount of pride in our home. Even when we were living in a small 2-bedroom apartment, we always had a very clean home. My mother did an amazing job of going to thrift stores. I learned thrifting from my family. You know, my mother was always someone who would take something that people discarded and make it new, repaint it, refurbish it. We always had beautiful spaces. It wasn't about the money. It was just about the pride and the pride and the intentionality of it. This is our home, so we're going to make a beautiful space. So it's not about money. It's about intention. So this season gives us the opportunity to really comb through, to take a look at that junk drawer. Everyone is on different sides of the spectrum. For some of you, you need a whole overhaul. You need to pull up the dump truck outside the door and stuff just needs to start getting tossed. For others, you might at face value, everything might look clean and put together, but then you have certain areas, certain drawers, certain aspects of your house that no one gets to see, but you know they're all a hot mess. All of those represent holding on. They represent your shadow, the unseen. This is where we hear the adage, you're only as sick as your secrets. The more that you hide in the physical realm impacts your wellness and your ability to fight off disease in the physical realm. It impacts your immunity. There is a mind-body connection. Your physical space is a microcosm of your life, of your mindset. I always say I can go into someone's home and I can tell the type of personality they have. I can tell the type of triggers they have. Whether it's the person who tries to act like everything is so clean and ordered and put together because they actually have some obsessive compulsive issues, but then they have these other areas that are not being attended to, or whether it's the person who just has extreme hoarding and can't let go of anything. You can't even walk through their home. Their home is just full of things that they don't use. It's like a weight holding them down. Wherever you are on the spectrum, it's not about judgment. It's about stepping into this time of visibility, the visibility of the sun being at its highest point, the visibility of what is ready to emerge, and to make room for those things. To make room for those things, because looking at the planet, we don't have time to hold on to what is not ours. We don't have time to hold on to what is not supporting us. And the more that we do that in our physical space, we can see the mirror in our psychological space. This is why when you go into temples, when you go into ashrams, when you go into holy spaces, there is a level of impeccableness. The floors are clean. The shrine is well kept. It is swept daily. There are certain incense that are burned. There are candles. Everything is about setting a high frequency, because a temple is a place of worship, is a place where we revere our gods, our ancestors, etc. And your home is your temple. It is the temple where you recharge your own personal life. It is the place where you are eating the nourishing foods that are going to empower your physical body. It is the place where you are doing purpose-driven work, whether you work outside of the home or inside of the home. You need to recharge in your home. It is the place where you rest. And we know that sleep is a huge part of our own restoration. Not getting enough sleep impacts our nervous system, impacts our cortisol levels. And if we don't make our bed, or our bed is full of clutter, how well are we even able to sleep? If you get so made up when you walk outside your door, you're smelling good, your hair is whipped, your outfit ain't got no wrinkles in it, and your house is a hot ass mess, what does that say about you? I know a lot of people who walk outside and look like $1,000,000, but when you look at their home, you almost can't even believe that the same person lives in that home. Like, damn, your bathroom looks like that. How did you even shower? Like, your stove is like this. How do you even cook? Your bed is unmade. How do you even sleep? And so what is that saying? They're telling the universe, you know what? I care more about the external. I care more about the way I'm being perceived. I care more about what other people think of me. I care more about appearances. But when it comes to my own internal work, when nobody's looking, I actually don't really love myself. I actually don't think that I'm worthy of having beauty and being surrounded in beauty. I don't really believe that I deserve to be surrounded in care and have a place of nurturing and build a sanctuary for I have this illusion of having it all together to the outside world, but in the inside world, I'm a hot mess. And it's all about the inside game, where we're on the planet right now. Your attitude controls your aptitude. You're only going to be able to go so far in life if you get your household in order. Root chakra. Energy can't go up to the crown if it's not connected to the root. And your root chakra connects you to your home, your place of safety, your place of security. When that is not solid, you aren't able to access other energetics. You aren't able to grow in other levels of frequency. Sometimes it's just as simple as making your bed, taking the time to prepare something for yourself. These are also wonderful ways to reset your cortisol levels, to calm your nervous system, to take a moment to get off the screen, to turn off the music, to get away from the phone, those analog activities that allow us to just be in a place of silence and stillness and space. That's when God can start getting in there. Because now you're not just creating the space in your physical realm, you're creating space in your mind, right? How many of us, while we've been washing the dishes, while we've been stirring a pot of food, while we've been sweeping the floor, have received downloads and wisdom of issues and problems that we were working through? In that moment of silence and stillness, something else was able to come in. So we want to increase the likelihood for those downloads, for those insights and wisdoms to come through, but they can only come if there's space. One thing that I do on a Sunday is I'll just jot out my week. What are the meetings I have? Where do I want to carve in those moments for my spiritual practice, for my wellness practice, my buying food so I can cook for the week and meal plan for a couple of days. Just getting it out of my head and on paper creates a tremendous amount of mental spaciousness. When I buy a new garment, I have a personal rule that I have to let go of something. So that allows me to stay within balance, that if I want to buy stuff, cool, you could buy stuff, but you're going to have to let something go. We're not just going to be in this accumulation and hoarding. When we think about the people who are all about accumulating all the resources on the planet, who do you see moving like that? You see spiritually broken white men, their psychosis, not their supremacy, the white psychosis and the patriarchal system. Those are the systems that are all about hoarding and over accumulation. This is why there are 85 billionaires in the city of San Francisco. 85. Just wrap your brain around that. Not millionaires. There are 85 individual humans who have over $1 billion while there are people sleeping on tents, while there are homeless in the street. That mentality of I have to have it all, or else I won't get any more else. That's their mindset, their way of being. That is not the energy of the universe, which is an energy of reciprocity. That is not the energy of your ancestors, which acknowledges the fact that there is a spirit team to help you. It's not the way of your destiny, which tells you that you can have everything that you want. That energy is fluid. When something comes out, something else is coming back in. And so to get into that dance, to move into that aspect of being like a shapeshifter, to being able to give and to receive and to make space and to be full, and knowing that it's not dark all day and it's not light all day. Everything has to change. Everything has to shift. So clearing clutter is more than just doing a chore. This is your spiritual work. This is the way that you make space for receiving blessings. Turn it into a prayer. Pray around your home. Call in the frequencies that you want. Play the high frequency music that you want for pleasure or prosperity or abundance or a new relationship. Do those sacred clearings with the sacred smoke of copal or sage or palo santo, whatever it is that you use to clear your home. We talked about the spiritual hygiene of your home in a different episode. It's important that we're always in that practice. As I've said before, this is why many indigenous cultures, when you wake up in the morning, you hear the sound of brooms. It's a ritual act of creating space for the day. And we have to be in that space as well. And stagnant, dead energy of something that's literally sitting on the shelf collecting dust, holding space, and you're not even using it is blocking your blessings. Straight up. Some of you maybe have been praying for something. You're like, wow, I'm doing all the work. I'm getting up every day. I'm out there. I'm pushing them. And you're wondering why it hasn't arrived. And you've been doing all this work in the external realm. But what does it look like in your physical space? What does the equivalent of that look like in the decluttering of your home? One place that I always like to start is your refrigerator. How many ketchup packets do you need? How many soy sauce packets do you need? How many plastic forks and knives of that takeout that you never use are you going to have? How many spoiled condiments are just sitting in there? How am I holding the food? Is my food spoiling? Is it just in a bunch of plastic bags when I buy fresh produce and then it spoils and it's in the back and I got something else? Again, this is a mirroring of how you treat your physical body. And this is why people ridicule folks in the Western world, because the Western world teaches us to accumulate a bunch of stuff. And we have this idea that if something doesn't work, we can just throw it out. We can just buy something new. We don't have a sense of where our food comes from. You have no relationship with the animals that support your lifestyle. You have no relationship with the natural resources that support your lifestyle. You have no relationship with things that you're no longer using. You're blaming the government, but you're not even looking at your own environmental footprint. In ancient Kemet, as I close out, as they were taught in ancient Egypt, that at the end of your life, you will put your heart on one scale. These are the scales of Ma'at, and the feather on the other scale. And the idea, the intention is to live your life with your heart as light as a feather, to have a light heart, to not be holding on to pain, to resentment, to not enoughness, to scarcity, to clutter. So as we're decluttering our home, we're also lightening our heart. We're allowing those things to compost that are no longer serving us. We're opening and expanding our conscious awareness to the abundance that the universe has for us. It is a spiritual act. So use this season of visibility of what is being illuminated in your life through the power of the sun, the power of summer, shifting into this new season, to take some time and to create more space in your physical home, starting small. It might just be as simple as 15 minutes a day. I'm going to tackle that drawer. 15 minutes, I'm going to tackle my closet. 15 minutes, I'm going to go through my shoe collection. This doesn't have to be, oh my God, I'm spending all day in this overhaul and it's stressful. No, we're not here to stress. We're here to do things with ease. We're here to do things with grace. Maybe if you need to take some weeks just to put your calendar together to look at some times where you have more space in your life to do these things. Maybe you make it a family project. This is something wonderful to model to your children. It's very important to model to your children that we let go of stuff, to look at your kids and say, okay, what are you going to cleanse? What are you going to purge in your room? Right? I don't even get me started with the amount of toys that these kids have that they don't even need. So this isn't just something that you're doing. This becomes a family act. This becomes a family practice. This becomes a ritual. And I promise you, shapeshifters, you're going to see some wonderful gains, some surprises, some synchronicities, some miracles popping into your life because you're creating the space in the physical realm that the spiritual realm has nothing else to do but follow accordingly. All right. That is what I have for you today, shapeshifters. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what room you're starting with, what you're decluttering. And until then, I'll see you next time. Keep shifting. Much, much love and light for showing up today, shapeshifters. You could be doing anything right now and you chose to be here, and I do not take that for granted. Looking for extra support on your journey? Explore my affordable coaching programs. Whether you prefer personalized one-on-one sessions or engaging group coaching, I'm here to help you align your vision and thrive on your own terms. Visit shapeshiftyourlife.com, that's SH8PE, shiftyourlife.com, and schedule your free shift call to discuss your coaching goals. Keep shifting.